friends, welcome back to Canadian Cutting Edge, and yes, I've got a knife review today, a folding knife. This is from the company Tenable, which is Kansept's budget line of knives, and the Prometheus by Dimitri, D.O.C.K is what he goes by. He designed it a while ago, but the knife only came out from Kansept and from Tenable, I don't know, half a year ago, probably a year ago or so. I'm not right on the cutting edge. It's taking so long to get knives into Canada. You know, the way I do it is just taking a long time, or I could spend a lot of money. But this is what we've got. We've got the budget Prometheus in the lowest price colorway. The black G10 with the red highlights is like $5 cheaper than any other way at most stores. Unbelievably, this knife is cheapest in Canada right now. House of Knives, just this very colorway, has it for less, you know, once you do the exchange rate stuff, for less money than the Americans are paying for this knife. So Canadians, yeah, House of Knives has got this. You can also get it at Blades Canada. I got mine through White Mountain Knives, where you can save 10% with coupon code CCE, and I'll put links and more information down there. Or you can get it directly from Tenable, Kansept Knives, and a wide variety of other stores. Now, before we get totally into this, I got two little announcements. If you saw my video, Skiff Works put this thing out. It's a little tool. It's a bit holder, and if you didn't see that video, yeah, it's too bad. This is a great little tool used to help you take your knives apart and stuff, and a bunch of other kind of tasks. And I was doing a giveaway, and the winner for this is Kevin Jansen. What's his little handle? Kevin Jansen 2738. Email me. I left a comment down in the links of that video. I was hoping for 100 likes, and then I'd do the giveaway. I've only got 47 likes on that video, unfortunately. It just, I guess people don't like this. Actually, a lot of people do. And it's a nice tool. Go watch that video if you haven't seen it yet, but you've lost your chance to win one of these. Kevin Jansen won this. Kevin, email me, CanadianCuttingEdge@gmail.com. The other thing is, another non-knife related video, EDC related wallet, Popov leather. Watch this video about this leather. And if you don't want to watch the video, but you're just looking for good quality leather goods, check that video out just for the link. Get 20% off everything in their store. And they've got a Labor Day sale going on right now. 40% off a lot of things. And some things have another 30% off, or not another, but have 30% off or something. And some things are regular price. And after I posted this, just yesterday, the day before, they came out with 2 more belt styles. You know, I've had three of their belts, primarily because I've been losing an awful lot of weight lately and I need to get smaller belts. But 2 more styles, a double prong style and another fancy, what they call it, Conway style belt, which is really cool looking. But let's get to the tabletop, and you can get links for all that stuff down below, because we're going to be busy for the rest of this video looking at Prometheus. Here is the knife. Now, if you like this knife and you just like the general shape and everything of it, like I said, Kansept Knives is the company. They've got a high-end version of this, S35VN or Damascus, and multicolor carbon fiber. And they don't say clearly if their clip and their frame lock side is titanium or not. It doesn't say anything on their website. And I haven't watched other people's reviews, because I don't want to be influenced by other reviewers on what to say about this knife. And one of my lights just burned out. Oh well. I'll just keep going. So I don't want to, say anything, that's just sort of mirroring what other people say. I want to give you my own opinions. But if you want a higher end version of this knife, check that out. And I think I got to raise my camera up just a little bit. All right, we're back. I got all that stuff remedied. Here's that knife again. We got like a sheep's foot style blade, but with a little bit of, flair on that tang of the blade there. No jimping anywhere up there. And I thought I was going to miss that, but this little bump right here, it does help a little bit, you know, with your thumb right there. And we don't really have a forward choil because it's, you know, coming out, not in, but we do have a forward grip there and feels fairly fine. And with the testing I did and the cutting I did, that works okay. And of course, with a sheep's foot blade, you've got that tip that works really good for doing tight work. So like a pinch grip, and then you stick your finger out if you need to do some tip work. This is a decent blade shape. Thin steel at the edge, really nice. This is 14C28N. We got a stonewash finish on it, well, blackwash finish, which is, you know, a black coated blade and then stonewashed. You can also get it in regular stonewash, and yeah, it looks good. It's got a nice, you know, flat grind, a high flat grind, saber grind, and this forward, I'm not calling it forward choil, this forward grip and this sharpener's choil kind of thing blended together into one. So when you go to sharpen this knife, you sharpen right to the end and you're not going to make an ugly area. I really, really like that. This blade cut quite well. We've got a little bit of a belly on it, not much at all. It's not completely flat, but you know, it's got that belly. Very, very nice. I'll give you all the dimensions later on. Badging and stuff on it. Well, you got the D.O.C.K there, and then you've got his logo there, his D.O., those are his initials, and the C.K. is Custom Knives, I think. And there it says Prometheus, and there's the model number for the specific color, T1040A1. So T1040, and then you got your color code, Tenable right there, and 14C28N. And there, a lot of badging, but they keep it nice and small, and they keep it tucked really close to the handle for the most part. I don't mind that. That's okay by me. And there you go. Flat slab G10. We've got, of course, red, and then it's black on top. And all of them have some kind of accent here at the pivot collar. Not all of them have two-tone because you can get this in a micarta as well. And then that's not going to be two-tone here. But just that simple little line milled out there helps put an accent on there. I like that. It's a nice decorative feature. It's not perfect. I wish they would have matched the outside here a little bit. See, that looks a little bit like a recurve compared to the actual edge. So it's further, you know, the distance to that line from the edge is further there than here. You know, that's just a tiny little, very nitpicky thing. I'm just mentioning it because I noticed it, but not a big deal. You know, it's just got a nice look to it. Pocket clip is right side only, and it's the same shape pocket clip that's on the high-end version. I believe it's a steel pocket clip. I didn't actually check it with a magnet. I'll put it on the screen. I'll have checked it with a magnet before I do it, while I do my editing and stuff. It's a decent, good retention, works well. Let's demonstrate it on a pocket right here. Climbs right over, goes right in. I like that. You've got a little bit of knife sticking out, but the pocket clip works well, holds well. I like it. It's sort of like a custom pocket clip, although this very similar shape has been done a number of times, and it's been on a number of knives. If memory serves correctly, from Kansept. Now we've got, I think, T6 screws on here. Yeah, T6 screws everywhere except for the pivot. They're nice screws in terms of, let me see, well, I could show it with this on here too. There's that skiff tool. Normally I'd use the shorter, not these long tang bits to use with this, but I just wanted to show this off a little bit more. And I don't have my T6. I've misplaced it. I'm going to have to buy some more T6s, the short ones. But you can see how much play there is in that. Not much. Tiny bit of the play is between here and here, but no, actually, it's so tiny. Yeah, not really. So these screws are decent screws. I don't prefer T6, but these are quite snug. It's working well. I don't like them because they easily are out of tolerances, and then you strip out your T6 screws. So I'm not fond of that. The T8 up here, a little bit of play, but well within the standards that I'm okay with. We've got a screw head on either side. We'll take it apart and we'll see if it's free spinning or if it's not later on in the video. let's talk about the action and the lockup and stuff like that. Well, the action begins with a flipper tab. Now you see that flipper tab there? It's just the tiniest bit on the small side, in my opinion, especially for knife newbies. If you've been playing with knives, you're a knife enthusiast, you're not going to have a problem with it. See, it's not hard to actuate. The detent's pretty good, and it works just fine. But if you're a knife newbie, I remember the very first time I played with flipper knives, I had a tough time getting used to how to do that, and it hurt my finger and stuff. Yeah, so knife newbies, when you first get into it, you're not going to like the flippers that much. So this isn't a good choice if you're brand new to flipper knives, but it works quite well once you get used to it. Now, lockup, we got a liner lock. Like I said, the high-end versions of frame lock. The lockup for the liner lock right there, that's ideal. That's exactly how I like it. Lock release, we've got a nice cutaway here to get at that tang of the blade to move the lock over. I wish they would have chamfered that edge just a tiny bit. Yeah, it would have raised the cost of making this thing by, half a penny or something per unit, or whatever the number is, I don't know. But it's not a problem. It is slightly rounded, so it's not a sharp, crisp, annoying edge. It's just a nice little touch I wish they would have done. And again, I'm being quite nitpicky on that because it's good. There's no lock stick or nothing like that. No blade play side to side when it's open, and when it's closed, the alignment, pretty good. It's a little closer to the show side, but it's well within being down the middle. Like, that's not bad at all. So I like that. One thing I don't like about the action is when you go to close the knife. You get your lock bar out of the way, and you're going to close the knife now, and the detent ball, I don't know if you can see it there, probably not. I don't know if I'll be able to get a good picture of that. That detent ball doesn't want to ride up onto the tang of the blade to be able to close it very well. And it takes more pressure than it should to get that started. So it really needs a ramp on there. Maybe this is just mine. Maybe my detent ball is more proud, more sticking out from the surface of that lock bar than most of them are. So your mileage may vary because that's a variable part during manufacture. Getting that detent ball exactly the same mounting position on each one of these, that's super fine tolerances. And knives, just budget knives like this, aren't made to those super tolerances. So you could just put a little detent ramp on there. And I'll probably do that when I take this apart in the middle of the video, and I'll come back and I'll show you or talk to you about how much better that is. And it's really easy to do that. You just need a little file, and you just file the edge a little bit and put a little ramp on there. Anyhow, that's basically the knife. How does it feel in hand? It feels quite nice. We've got nice rounded spine back here, and we've got the belly rounded, and it comes back like this. My hands are just barely in the extra large range. Let's just call them large, I guess. Especially, they're getting thinner. So I'm losing some weight. It fits. It feels decent. Especially that forward grip, I'm happy with. So many forward choil knives I'm unhappy with because it forces your finger right close to that edge, the heel of the blade right there, the heel of the cutting edge. This is just fine. It's easy to get a good solid grip on this thing and stay away from that sharp part. I like that. Colors are nice, all that stuff. Let's take this thing apart and see how they constructed it and show you the skeletonizing in there. Let's take some of these T6 screws out. There we go. That one's loosened. That one's loosened. And this does work a whole lot better with short driver bits instead of these long ones. And I'm just taking that off just to make it fast now that I've loosened it to spin these. And that's loose. And let's see, here we go. Get that in there. Yeah, it's free spinning. I'm just going to put extra pressure on here. And this is where this kind of thing is really, really good for. Do I have a T8 handy? It's also a long one. Yeah, it's also a long one here. That's handy. If it's a short one, it's great. You put this in your fingers like that, and then you can hold the knife like this, right close, or like this, right close. I'll do it with this longer one because it does work with the longer ones as well. To hold it in one hand and then, you know, take out the screws with the other. We'll do it this way. So I think this is the side I was spinning before. And it makes it so much easier and safer to open up a free spinning knife. Just make sure you get the short bits. You know, I bought these long bits because I was using them, you know, in a stubby like this. And that's how I was using them quite a bit. And I just like that. This thing's a game changer. Just a game changer. And they do have 3D printed plastic versions for a whole lot cheaper. Although this isn't terrible, but the price, I like that. Back to the knife. I'm jumping around too much. Skeletonizing, we've got the captured stop pin on the blade, and it goes in there, and it's closed on the front. See that little bit of black steel there? I like it when it's closed. If you're doing a captured stop pin, I want it closed, so I'm very happy about that part. And it comes out, and we've got some brown, you know, nylon cages with ceramic ball bearings. What do we got? 9. There's 9 balls in each one of these ceramic ball bearings. 9, that's quite nice. Lots of skeletonizing. Oh, I didn't show you the balance point. The balance point on this thing is actually quite nice. I'm very happy with it. Now, if you look at this knife, now that I got it apart, you can see the detent. Let's move some of this stuff just so we can focus on this. There we go. You can see the line where the detent ball rides. So it goes into that hole. That's for when it's closed. It holds it closed. So right there, what you want to do is take your file on about a 45-degree angle and just file right where that spot is. Not too deep, because, you know, that's part of where the lockup is. So just a tiny little bit right there. You just want to file, break that corner just a little bit to make it close a little bit easier. And I'm going to go do that right now, and I'll be right back. I started reassembling it before I turned the camera on. Put a tiny bit of oil on there. Very little oil. You don't use an awful lot. Just a couple little dots. That's all that it needs. Let me close that off. Yeah, that is a leather watch band from Pop-Off Leather. They also have them for Apple Watches, if you want. Anyhow, let's close this up here. Get that centered over that. Get that centered very well. There we go. Get that started. Close this up. And put these in over here. Then it's so fast to put this on, and then I can turn these to just the proper tightness easily. There we go. And this T8. Hold that. I should close this gently. Back it off just a tiny bit right there. Ooh. Yep, I could have chamfered that edge just a little bit more, and I'll probably do that later off camera. But you just do that tiny little steps. Take off that edge just a tiny little bit until you get it just the way you want it, because you don't want it closing too easily. And actually, I might just leave that. Yeah, because that feels much better. You know, of course, I'm still pushing a little bit on the side when I do this, but then it climbs right over. You don't want that to be too easy. Got the blade alignment good. Yeah, lockup's tight, snug. Yeah, I dialed it in. Very well done. I'm quite happy with that. Now, before I do the sizes and measurements, all that stuff, what's the price of this thing? White Mountain Knives has got it for $49.89 US, this color. They've got other colors, $58.89. But you save 10% at White Mountain Knives with my coupon code CCE, and that makes this $44.01 US, or the higher priced one is $53.01, which is, you know, 59 Canadian to 72 Canadian, you know, respectively. But in Canada, this guy, this red one, $47.99, 48 Canadian dollars. Not bad at all. 48 Canadian dollars. That's the best price. House of Knives has got this. That's a sale price on the day that I'm recording this. I've got no idea if that sale price is going to last or not. You can also go to Blades Canada. They got this one for $65, $64.99, and another color for $76.99. Let's do the measurements. Weight, 105 grams, which equals this number of ounces. I forgot to convert it. So it's on the screen how many ounces this is. The sharpness from the factory, now I test this on my tester. Now this is unique to me. Every person who uses one of these best testers, a sharpness tester, there's a little bit of a human factor, so don't compare my numbers to other people's numbers that they get on theirs. I got 185, which is not as sharp as average. The average knife that I review is like 140, 150 best on my tester the way I do it. This one's 185. It's still quite sharp from the factory, and that edge is so nice and thin. How thin is it? That edge just behind that grind? 0.41 millimeters, 16 thousandths of an inch on average along the length. Again, I measured it in 3 places, and all of them were 16 thou to 16.5 thou, so really, really well done. The length of this cutting edge, 77.7 millimeters, 3.06 inches. The length of the blade, tip to the closest spot on the G10 in a straight line, 83.7 millimeters, 3.3 inches. The thickness of the blade stock, 3.45 millimeters, which is 0.136 of an inch, so a bit over 1/8 of an inch, so you got a good amount of strength. And with the 14C28N, this is a good, nice, durable blade. I like that. The blade depth this way, where is it widest? It's right here because of that little hump. The rest of it's quite a bit thinner, but the widest point is what I always give you. 27.1 millimeters, 1.06 inches. The length of the handle, so between my thumbnails right there, that is 109.7 millimeters, 4.32 inches. The grip area between my thumbnails, now this is sort of a rounded number because we've got a rounded shape back here. Where exactly do you measure to? Because your grip diminishes as you go higher up here. 9 centimeters, 3.5 inches roughly. Now you got an extra over 1/2 inch here when you use that forward grip part, so that's quite nice. It fits a lot of people's hands. The thickness of this handle, 12.4 millimeters, which is 0.488, so 0.49 of an inch, just under 1/2 of an inch thick this way. Quite nice. And this measurement, the widest point's right about here, 26.1 millimeters, 1.03 inches. So it fits a lot of hands very comfortably, yes. And the closed depth, it's not widest here, it's actually widest here. So to go in your pocket, the widest point, 30.2 millimeters, 1.19 inches. And the total length of this thing, oh, I forgot to convert it again. 193 millimeters, I think I've got a ruler down here. 193 millimeters, which is roughly 7 5/8. Not bad at all. Quite happy with it. Now, my overall thoughts of this knife. Is it worth the 50 bucks? Well, 48 Canadian and 44 American if you get the red one at the cheapest places that you can find it right now. A little bit more at some other places. I like it. I'm quite fond of it. Now, I probably would like the micarta better. I think it would feel better in the hand, and it'd give me a little more grip that I like, and I like the colorway better, but I'm trying to save every penny that I can, and I bought these. So, yeah, I bought the cheapest one that I could get to make this review. Not bad. Not bad at all. Things that are missing that you might notice, there's no left-hand pocket clip, and there's no lanyard hole. If you want a lanyard on here, you're out of luck. You could tie off on one of these, but the cutting edge is going to get in the way and it's going to shred that in no time flat. So lanyard is off the books. Right-hand pocket clip is off the books. So that's what it's missing. What are some other cons? It needs a detent ramp from the factory. At least mine does. I might adjust it a tiny bit more. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to like it the way it is. Not really a con. It depends on your proficiency with flippers. The old school flippers, well, I'm saying the old school flippers actually haven't been around that awful long, but you know, it's a little soft and rounded, not very tall. Some people are going to want a bigger flipper, and some people are going to be very happy with this flipper. Things that are just okay, The lock release surface right here, that's okay. It's not a pro, it's not a con, it's okay. Some jimping, yeah, I think I might like some jimping, but I didn't really need it. So that's, again, pick your own poison. What do you like, what do you don't like? I already said the lanyard hole. That's here nor there. I don't use lanyards on pocket knives, at least very, very rarely. Things I really do like, this blade shape, this blade design, the grind, sharpening's pretty good, but it's nice and thin. The main thing is for an urban or even other EDC, I like it nice and thin. Good steel, good blade shape, cuts really well. It's a slicey blade, and you've got that tip to do good tip work with. Handle's fairly comfortable. You know, it's not exceedingly great or anything, but it's a comfortable handle, even reverse grip. You know, it's not a fighting knife style at all, but I mean, you sometimes have to hold knives different ways to cut certain things. Comfortable handle, and this forward grip is done quite well. I'm not upset about that forward grip. If it was a little closer to the handle, you know, a little less steel sticking out, then it might be even more comfortable, but not bad. I'm quite happy with this thing. Do you have one of these? Let me know in the comments what you think. Has this video convinced you to try one of these? Maybe go get one? You know, let us know. Leave any kind of comment. It really does help the channel. If you hit that like button, it really does help the channel out as well. And it was smooth before, but this, very smooth. If you've not tried Gunny Glide, watch that video too. I know I'm talking about my older videos, other stuff I've done, but yeah. And after you're done liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment, make sure you always remember as well, cut towards your chum, not your thumb.